Hello. I think I might start doing shorter series that are less formed around content but specific concepts, reflections. One reflection I just had recently is I was watching, this is CoffeeZilla. He's been covering the Epstein files, which is the big thing right now, right? And I just realized, right, that a lot of what the Epstein files are is voyeurism. If you think about it, let's slow down and unpack that. What does that mean? What I mean by that is, instead of people picking up pitchforks and demanding heads on a stake, which is what I would like to see. I'd like to see justice, whether that's the police, community justice, riots, outrage, action, right? But I'm realizing that one of the tentacles, one of the abilities of this new technocratic system that we're going to be stepping into as the future unfolds is the ability to diffuse everything into voyeurism, into shock jock content. And so people who make content where they get morally outraged and this is so bad and da-da-da-da, you're not actually spreading a message, you're not actually galvanizing people to do things. In my opinion, I think a lot of what you're doing is you're providing an outlet for people and transforming something that should make us want to go kill a local pedophile into content. It's becoming content. I would ask the viewer, right, like when you watched some of these Epstein file videos, did you go do anything? Or did you go right back to playing Minecraft or click on the next piece of content in your feed and just keep consuming? Funnily enough, I think this ties into pornography. I think pornography has done a lot of that. It's conditioned men particularly to engage voyeuristically with actions that are supposed to be first person and active engagement. Instead, they've transformed men's psyche. It's a bit loud. They've transformed men's psyche and relation to sex, which is something supposed to be very active, something very participatory, physically engaged, and they've made it something passive and voyeuristic, right? You're watching another man have sex, kind of gay. I think content does much of the same thing, right? We all get outraged online. We watch the Candace Owens show and we spurg in the comments, and we don't actually do anything. And I think this is by design. I think this is a feature, not a bug, of the technology where they want us to engage with content and treat it as content and consume it like content and get enraged and outraged, right? And they've been feeding, it's almost like an addiction, right? You're being fed emotional rage bait type content to satiate your urge for drama and sensationalism. But as that addiction grows, you're not actually One sec. Let's put this away because I'm done watching this. You're not actually getting anything done. It's instead just growing this addiction of voyeurism. And it desensitizes you to evil in the world. And it conditions you to consume it like content instead of react. Normally, we should all be outraged. We should be doing something. These people should be in jail. These people should, in my opinion, have the death penalty, right? So I think the content, in a way, it's hard to see because you look at it and you think they're exposing this stuff. This is they're doing good. They're waking people up. You know, they're letting them know that, you know, Jews run the world and there's pedophiles on an island with our tax dollars. And we think that's a good thing. And it kind of is. Except at the same time, it's conditioning a response to the evil, which is consuming content and voyeurism, passivity, reducing it to entertainment. And that's a feature of the technocratic system. It's going to continually show you violence, continually show you depravity, show you you're unlocking. They've let you see that Jews run the world. They've let you see that Epstein does things. As the system degenerates, it's going to at the same time condition you to treat it as normal, treat it as content. Not too long ago in the 1960s, when people were upset about a government policy, they would protest on campuses. You had people drawing out in the numbers of 200,000 just for the Vietnam War. Nowadays, we go to war with every country in the Middle East on the opposite side of the globe, and nobody really seems to care. They do care, but nothing's getting done about it. And it's a type of pernicious disembodiment, right? You get outraged in your head and online and in the comments, but nothing ever happens in real life, right? This is the nothing ever happens meme, right? But it's a pernicious feature of this content, because we have a tendency to look at it and go, oh, look at Western women, look at what they're doing, or look at pedophiles and Jews, look at what they're doing. But what you're doing is you're part of the system, you're part of the apparatus that keeps people entrapped by transforming something that should incite action and revolt into content. And it becomes this kind of, it becomes an addiction. I think if we were being honest, if reality didn't have pedophiles and Jews running everything, we'd be bored. If everything was normal, we had a Christian monarch and everything was running smoothly, and men and women did their job, we'd be bored. What would we react to online? What would we talk about, right? It'd be boring. So I think if we're being honest, a lot of us would actually go, yeah, we would be bored. That kind of says something, I think. That says something about the state of our psyche as a people. If we're actively hungry for rage bait, shock content to react to and get mad at online. But it's a type of diffusion, right? And that's my attitude with the Epstein files, is I don't want to see a video where we're, oh my gosh, can you believe this guy did that? Can you believe Ehud Barak? Can you believe he called us Goyim? Can you believe? No, I want people dead. I want people in jail and their heads cut off, given capital punishment by the state, or community justice. I saw Prince Andrew got arrested. Nice. Good. But the content is pernicious. The content is pernicious because it conditions the populace to engage in voyeurism towards the atrocities of the world. It's a type of evil. They can put it in front of your face. They can go touch kids, and what are you going to do? You're going to bitch about it online. You're going to turn it into a marketplace. You're going to transform something that should be rage into a marketplace of entertainment. The touching of kids, the violation of innocent children gets turned into content. That's what's happening. It's being turned into content. Nothing's being done about it. Unless you have a plan. I haven't heard anybody be like, okay guys, here's what we're going to do. My video is here to rally people together because we're going to do something. No, the feds would come and they'd kill you. So instead, they make content. You got to ask, why is it allowed? Why is the Epstein files coming out? Why is Instagram allowed to be so anti-Semitic if it's run by Mark Zuckerberg, right? Because differing Jews have differing philosophies. And one of the philosophies is that one of them is just to ban everything, right? Oy vey, that's anti-Semitic. But another one is, let's actually let them see it. Let's put it in front of their face and see how they react. Let's get them used to it, because there's a whole lot more coming. So get used to it. Because if this is treated as status quo as normal, if we can get over the initial shock, diffuse it, sure, make a bunch of content, get millions of views, spread the word, and get used to it. Treat it as normal. It's kind of like being a cuck, right? You know, oh, the first time it's really dramatic and, oh my gosh, she's banging your wife, right? But then what happens? You get used to it, right? And then that's no big deal anymore. And suddenly you've lost your spirit as a man, right? As someone who doesn't really watch like porn online, the few times I have seen it, it comes off shocking. I'm like, I don't want to watch another guy have sex with a woman. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch another dude having sex with a woman. That's gross. That's voyeuristic. That's cuck shit. But you watch it a couple times and then all of a sudden it's normal. In fact, you want more, right? You crave it. There's a dependency. So we can't let that happen with our content, with evil that's happening out in the world. We can't allow ourselves to see it once and then assent to it by doing nothing. That's the biggest danger, is once you see it the first time, that's when the reaction is still fresh. That's your window of opportunity, right? And then after that, you become desensitized. And then it's much harder to react strongly when you're desensitized. It's kind of like, it's the same as pair bonding, right? It's that first time that really matters the most. You have a small window, especially as a woman, of opportunity to really pair bond with someone. After that, your pair bonding ability goes away. You become desensitized. So you really got to capitalize early and treat it as precious. Treat that first time as precious, because after that, it's much harder. And the same as we should guard our hearts the same way. We should look at the things that are happening online, Epstein, and not let ourselves become voyeurs to this stuff. I would say avoid the content. I would say read it on the news, get information, but understand that this isn't content, this isn't for fun, this isn't something that we consume, this isn't normal, this is wrong. There should be some kind of justice, right? There should be some kind of action. That's the only thing I would be satisfied with. I'm not going to be satisfied with content. I want heads on pikes, right? And that's kind of how we need to preserve our headspace in that way. And I would say to content creators where you might have the idea that, well, I'm spreading the word and I'm doing good works by, getting this stuff out there and getting people aware of it. You are getting people aware of it, but that's bad. It's bad in the same way that exposing a bunch of people to repeated sex is bad. It devalues the sex. You're devaluing and normalizing this kind of evil in the world to them. And unless your immediate reaction that first couple times is violence needs to happen, justice needs to happen, then you're going to get used to just consuming rage bait content. And that's a feature. That's going to be, without a doubt, that's going to be a feature of the new system, of the new world order. It's going to be, you consume content, you get outraged online, and it stays online. It stays in Twitter, it stays in the comment section, never goes anywhere. That's a feature. It's disembodying the evil from the world. It's disembodying it. It's diffusing it online, like an outlet, like a radiator plate, right? Just diffusing it into the ether, into nothingness. It's disembodying evil, right? That's the technology there. It's giving evil a digital form where it can, get outraged and have your crusades over in the comment section. Just let me, on my physical island, keep touching kids, right? And to know if you're part of the problem, I would say, do you feel a dependency on the content of it? Do you want more content? Do you constantly need updates and info and the new scandal? Or do you need justice? right? I get frustrated. I have a friend who is becoming kind of red-pilled and conservative, but it's frustrating because I don't want people to become radicalized. I don't want people to start consuming red pill, far right content. I don't want that. I want people to do things about it. I don't want a bunch of people in a bunch of rabbit holes. I want men active in the community who do things, who go places, and who are embodied people, right? I don't think it's a coincidence that the same far-right men also struggle with porn, right? It's the same psychopathology. It's the same sin, which is disembodying yourself from reality, engaging in voyeurism, and that feeds this kind of extremism, right? We start watching more and more extreme porn. We need more and more in extreme politics. There's nothing wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with far-right politics. I'm not saying your politics themselves are wrong. But I'm saying there's a process where we are becoming disembodied and we're spiraling without any grounding in the real world, right? And that's kind of what I think in many ways the release of the Epstein files is intentional. They're conditioning you. They're saying, hey, look at this rage bait content. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Okay, you're going to do nothing. Here it is again. And do you think you're going to react any stronger when it happens the second time? You're going to go, oh, this is just like the first time. Keep going. I need more outrageous content for the same reaction now, which gives them license to do even more extreme things. So it's one thing to be political online. It's one thing to be far right. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with extreme politics or extreme even religion. Like if you're a theology nerd, but it can't just stay online. And the online is a trap. It's a prison, and it's intentional. It's a outlet for the elites to diffuse their evil, right? So it's a technology, it's a feature of this upcoming system, right? We can't get caught into that, right? Am I saying that far right is bad? No, I'm not saying far right is bad or red pill is bad, but I'm saying the form of it, the medium, is pernicious if it just stays as and festers in the online, empty, voidless ecosphere. We should think about the real world. We should think, how am I going to apply this in the real world? What am I going to be able to do? Not just consume rage bait, shock content. Give me a pragmatic plan. What are we going to do? And then be done with it. Don't waste your time. Once you know what you need to know, you've taken the red pill tenets, you've disillusioned yourself with left-wing silliness. Okay, what are you actually going to do about it? Are you going to run for office? Are you going to be able to affect things in the world at large? Probably not. You're just a guy, right? You're not going to be able to change the world. I wouldn't even try, honestly, because most change doesn't happen bottom up, grassroots. It happens top down. You don't have hundreds of millions of dollars. You're not going to be able to affect top down change. So you need to understand your role, right? So for me, for example, I think the red pill is useful pragmatically for myself. It's given me a good framework for understanding women and dating that I can use in my day-to-day life. And I think the far-right Epstein stuff, that's good too, because, for example, well, it keeps me disillusioned with things like the police, keeps me disillusioned with these kind of fake spheres, right? Politics. Money, right, for example, it's pragmatic because you can start investing in things that are not money if you think the system is going to collapse. Right? You can if you know the trajectory of society, you can make predictions and maybe profit or save yourself a little bit, right? So it's pragmatic in that sense. It's pragmatic that I found what I believe to be the true church, so I can start going there. But it can't just stay in the online space. That's pernicious. And the argument isn't just pragmatism. No, it's not just that. It's what we think is people shining the light on something evil. We think that's good, but they're actually a feature. The Jews want you. For all the far right anti-Semites, the Jews want you to sit online and consume anti-Semitic content. They want you to just sit on Instagram Reels and rot away. That's what they want. That's part of the plan. You're being a goy. Like you sitting there scrolling on Instagram. That's part of the plan. You walked into their trap, you stupid goy. They want a disembodied, disenfranchised, terminally online goy. They don't want a goy who has a plan or a vision in the real world, who can come fucking punch them in the real world, right? They don't want that. So I think it's part of the psyop, and we have to be aware of that. Realize that the online medium and domain is, whether it's far left content or far right content, they both exist to rage bait people into the online sphere. The far right rage baits people and gets them engaged in an online empty vacuous ecosphere where all of their human power, their terminus, is dissipated into meaningless things. And the far left is the same thing. They get you outraged. Oh my gosh, Trump's a Nazi, Trump's Hitler, oh my gosh, Trump is evil. And both are techniques to draw everybody in, Gen Z, into this meaningless space, to a prison, a digital prison, right? And we gotta avoid that, right? We gotta stay grounded. God gave us a church. He didn't just give us a set of principles. God gave us a physical church. We go and walk to the church. We go eat the bread, the Eucharist, right? We don't just think about it. God is not antimatter, right? Anti-material. Yeah, so, and I just realized that because I had a friend who was kind of getting red pilled. And I have the temptation to say, yeah, that's good. But I'm also deeply frustrated, and I actually was kind of angry, and I didn't really know why I was angry. And I realized I was angry is because I want change. I don't want someone to become just a radicalist online. I don't want that. I wish actually people didn't see the Epstein files, because it's normalizing people to them now. That's the danger, is you're just normalizing people to a degree of horrificness, awfulness. It's normalizing and saying, this is the status quo, this is what to expect, this is normal, and if you're not going to do anything about it, then accept it, right? But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you agree, disagree, what your insights, thoughts are. That's just a revelation I had recently. Obviously, am I part of the problem? Maybe, right? I might be part of the problem because I am content, right? I am participating in the online ecosphere in a way. But I don't think it's all bad, right? I don't think all online content is bad. But I think if you're a show like Candace Owens that just creates a consistent stream of money and content by creating emotional shock, rage bait content. Even Undead Chronic is kind of guilty in this in a way, because there's no new information, there's no new thing that's going to help people. I don't know if he's actually reaching a new audience. I would guess not. And it's not enough to just to get people radicalized. We need a plan of action. We need something embodied in the real world. And just they might say that, they're like, no, I have a plan. I'm gonna, but that's rarely ever the focus. 99% of the time, it's just getting angry or getting offended or rage bait content of entitled Western women, right? And that can be a trap in of itself, right? We get stuck perpetually angry and online, right? Engaged in an online circle of hate where nothing happens, right? Which the hate, there's nothing wrong with the hate. It's valid. Yes, Western women suck. But let's not spend our entire lives doing that online. That's my whole point, is what are we doing? Like, what are we actually doing? And are we actually helping people, or are we normalizing them and turning it into voyeurism, turning the problems of man into something to be consumed as content? Or are we going to do something about it? I would rather that when a problem is presented, the immediate reaction from content creators is, okay, guys, this horrible thing happened. Here's what you need to do. Here's the solution. Because otherwise, what's the point? Yeah, okay, bad thing happened. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. And then it's normal, right? So something to consider. So I know that there's multiple ways to misconstrue that as saying the red pill is bad, or far right extremism is bad. It's not. And if you misunderstood that, then I did my best to explain my position. If you aren't listening, then I don't know what to say, right? But if you disagree, then show me something in the comments. Let me know what you think. And yeah, that's my position. Let me know what you guys think. All right, take care.